Welcome students, we have been given this question. X positive 1 over x is equal to square root of 2. We expected to compute x raised to the power 2021 positive 1 over x raised to the power 2021. Now there are many ways to approach this question. I will show you two different ways by which we will be able to obtain the result to this question. Now foremost, what I would do is I would solve it by consider x positive 1 over x is equal to square root of 2. I would take, in fact you can multiply by x both sides, and that would give you x squared positive 1 is equal to root of 2 times x. Move root of 2x to the left, you get x squared negative root of 2x positive 1 is equal to 0. This is a quadratic in x, so I would be using the quadratic formula, so that would mean x is equal to negative b. So let me state the formula: negative b plus or minus root of b squared negative 4ac divided by 2a. This is the quadratic formula which we would be using. So that would mean I now have negative root of 2 whole squared, negative 4 times a is 1, c is 1. This has to be divided by 2 times a. I can rewrite this as root of 2 plus or minus square root of, this is going to be 2, negative 4 divided by 2. I can further rewrite this as root of 2 plus or minus 2 negative 4 will give me negative root 2 divided by 2. I know that I squared is equal to negative 1, so I will be rewriting this as root of 2 plus or minus square root of 2i squared divided by 2, which can be rewritten as root of 2 plus or minus I times root of 2 divided by 2. Now I can rewrite the denominator as root of 2 times root of 2. Of course you got the negative sign also. Now clearly you can see a root 2, a root 2, a root 2 can be cancelled, giving me 1 plus or minus I over root 2. Now what I would do is there are two roots possible, so therefore you got x is equal to 1 positive I over root 2 or x is equal to 1 negative I over root 2. Now let me just take x is equal to 1 positive I over root 2. Now this is a complex number. I'm going to rewrite this complex number as real part, positive imaginary part. Now any complex number z, let me state that any complex number z equal to a positive ib can be written as z is equal to r times of cos theta positive I times sin theta. Now this would also mean z raised to the power n can be written as r times of cos theta positive I sin theta the whole raised to the power of n, which in turn is nothing but r power n times cos n theta positive I times sin n theta. So these are all some complex number results which we would need. So now what is r? Let me write that down. R is equal to root of a squared positive b squared, and let me write the value of theta, and theta is equal to tan inverse of y over x. So these are all some standard results that we would be employing here. So foremost, let me find out the value of r. R is equal to square root of a squared positive b squared. That's going to be 1 over root 2 squared positive 1 over root of 2 squared, which is equal to 1 over root 2 squared will give you 1 over 2 added with 1 over 2, which is going to be root of 1, which is going to be 1. So my modulus, my r is equal to 1. Now my theta. Now theta is equal to tan inverse of my y is 1 over root 2. That has to be divided by 1 over root 2. So both these things gets cancelled, giving me tan inverse of 1, which is pi over 4. So therefore this complex number which we are talking about, this is actually z in disguise, is written as r, which is 1 times theta is pi over 4. So it's going to be cos pi over 4 positive I times sine pi over 4. So that is my x. So what is this actually? This is my x. Now if I were to rewrite this, so this is my x. If I were to rewrite this, all I would get is cos pi over 4 positive I times sine pi over 4. That's all. Now if you want to take in x to the power 2021, now let us just consider x raised to the power of 2021. This is what is being given. Now this can be rewritten as x raised to the power 2020 multiplied with x, which is nothing but x raised to the power of 4 times 4 divides 20, 5 times 4 doesn't divide 2, so 0 and 5. So this can be the way in which I'm defragmenting or fragmenting the component 2020. Now I can rewrite this as x to the power of 4 raised to the power of 505 times x. Now why am I able to do this? Because from the law of indices, if I have a raised to the power of m times n, I can rewrite this as a raised to the power m raised to the power n, or a raised to the power n raised to the power m. So all of these things are possible. Now I know x here, but I need to know the value of x to the power 4. So how do I get it? Simple. Now we know that x is equal to cos pi over 4 positive I times sine pi over 4. Now therefore x raised to the power 4 is equal to cos pi over 4 positive I times sine pi over 4. The whole is raised to the power of 4. Now this is nothing but, as I mentioned to you over here, z power n is nothing but r raised to the power n times cos n theta positive I sine n theta. But my r is 1, so there's nothing to raise there. So this is going to be cos 4 times pi times 4 positive I times sine 4 times pi times 4. So this gets cancelled, right? Sine pi is 0. Now this one will be cos pi. Now what is cos pi? Cos pi is negative 1. So therefore what have we got? X to the power of 4 is negative 1. This is what we have got. Now having obtained this, let us go back. Hence x to the power of 2021, which has been written as x to the power of 2020 times x, which has been rewritten as x to the power of 4 raised to the power of 505 times x, is now, in place of x to the power of 4, you place negative 1, and that has to be raised to the power of 505 times x. Now this is a odd number. This is a negative 1. So negative 1 raised to the power of odd number will give me negative 1. That has to be multiplied with x, giving me negative x. So what have I got? I have got x raised to the power of 2021 to be as negative x. So therefore 1 over x raised to the power of 2021 will be equal to negative 1 over x. Now we are supposed to add x raised to the power of 2021 with 1 over x raised to the power of 2021, which is going to be negative x added with 1 over x. Of course, there's, because of the negative sign which we have for x, this is going to be the result. If I were to take x negative sign out, this is going to be x positive 1 over x. But what is x positive 1 over x? Refer to the question. It is given to be as root of 2. So just substitute that. So this is going to be negative of root of 2, which is equal to negative root 2, which is a solution which we have achieved using complex numbers. Now I would like to do the same question, x positive 1 over x, using algebra, no complex numbers. So we are expected to find x raised to the power 2021 positive 1 over x raised to the power of 2021. We need to compute this. Now what I wish to do is, I would be squaring both sides because I got a radical sign. I would like to remove that. So if I were to square both sides, I would get x positive 1 over x raised to the power 2 is equal to root of 2 the whole squared. On the right I get 2. This is x squared positive 2 times x times 1 over x positive 1 over x squared. X and x gets cancelled, giving me x squared positive 2 positive 1 over x squared is equal to 2. This is what I get. Now the 2 here and the 2 here can be cancelled, equal to 0. because if I were to move this 2 on the other side, I get negative 2. So positive 2, negative 2 gets cancelled, giving me 2. Now the point is, I would like to remove this x squared. So the best thing would be multiply by x squared both sides. So if I were to do that, this is going to be x squared times x squared, positive x squared times 1 over x squared is equal to x squared times of 0. Now this is going to be 0. This gets cancelled, giving me 1, a positive sign. X squared into x squared will give me x to the power 4. Now if I were to move this 1 to the other side, I get x power 4 is equal to negative 1. Now we have to compute. We need to compute x to the power 2021, positive 1 over x raised to the power of 2021. So I can rewrite this as x raised to the power 2020 times x, positive 1 over x raised to the power 2020 times x. Now this can be rewritten as x raised to the power of 4 times of 505 times x. Similarly 1 over x raised to the power 4 times 505 times x, which is equal to x raised to the power 4 raised to the power of 505 plus 1 over x raised to the power 4 raised to the power of 505. Now since x raised to the power 4 is equal to negative 1 right over here, I'm substituting it. So it's going to be, of course I need to place that x, so we shouldn't forget that x. So this is going to be negative 1 raised to the power 505 times x, positive 1 over negative 1 raised to the power of 505 times x. Now clearly this will be negative 1. This has to be multiplied with x. This is going to be negative 1. This has to be multiplied with x. This will give me negative x. This will give me negative x. So it's going to be negative 1 over x. I can take the negative sign out, giving me x positive 1 over x. But it is given that x positive 1 over x is equal to root 2. So substitute that. It's going to be negative of root 2, which is equal to negative root 2. So therefore we have computed x raised to the power of 2021 positive 1 over x raised to the power of 2021. It is imperative to understand questions like this keep appearing in competitive examinations. So it is a good way to practice this in multiple different manners. We never know which method would come in handy. So the best way to be prepared is to practice. Thank you, students.